Alright, let's try this again. For those of you that don't know, I first released this video on Halloween 2019, and for the next 21 months is one of my best videos and one of my personal favorites. Then on July 7th, 2021, Paramount and Lionsgate blocked it from YouTube completely. Most studios will just monetize the video and move on, but no matter what I tried to cut out, they just kept blocking it. And I was just not going to use any video clips and only use stills, that way they couldn't block anything, but then I was like, that. If you do a search for Monster Squad, it brings up so many videos that use way more clips than I ever did. Why the hell should I have to change? Like everyone else gets to use a clip of Wolfman getting kicked in the nards, but mine would have had to been like this. Kick him in the nards. He doesn't have nards. Just do it. Oh, that chunky boy got me right in the nuts. Why did the husky kid have to give me a shot right to the pills? That complete unit just smashed my dingle. And that would have been dumb as hell. Monster Squad is the classic movie from 1987 about a group of kids fighting the forces of evil in their small town. A lot of people say that it's a ripoff of the Goonies, and I don't know where they're getting that from. The Monster Squad is about a group of misfits who are part of an exclusive club. Okay, lots of movies have that premise. The Monster Squad has a document that holds the key to stopping the forces of evil, but only if they're able to decipher it. Shit. Okay, the Monster Squad has a no-nonsense leader who constantly has to try to keep everyone focused. Oof. Alright, the Monster Squad has an overweight kid with a really mean nickname. The Monster Squad has a mother who's at her wit's end and is just trying to keep her family together. They could have at least cast a different actress. Fight for my damn life over here. Oh, here we go. The Monster Squad has a character that everyone is afraid of at first, but ends up being really sweet and helpful. Saw that one coming. You know what? So what? Both movies are great and they both have a right to exist. I mean, hell, Galaxy Quest is just a ripoff of A Bug's Life, which itself was a ripoff of Three Amigos, and all three of those movies are great. You've got The Seven Samurai and Magnificent Seven, Single White Female in the Hannah Montana movie. What's that? Okay, I'm being told that Hannah and Miley are the same person. Yeah, right, Daryl. One has blonde hair and is a pop star, and the other is brunette and a ghost? The only negative thing you can say about the Monster Squad is how short it is. This movie clocks in at 1 hour and 19 minutes, and that includes credits. That just shows how great this movie is because you get plenty of character development and have compelling villains all in the time it takes to cook a rotisserie chicken. I mean, I guess. I've never actually cooked a rotisserie chicken, so I have no idea how long it takes. And by comparison, the Transformers series clocks in at just under 13 hours, and I dare you to name one human character. Monster Squad begins 100 years in the past when Abraham Van Helsing and his gang storm Dracula's castle in order to try to banish him once and for all. And this seems like a very important mission, so I probably would have recruited at least 2 more people. Man, literacy programs in the 1800s were steeped in superstition. The chances of dying if you stopped reading were very low back then. Reading from the scroll opens up a portal from the magical amulet, and it consumes the monsters, but also the good guys. And did anyone else feel bad for this girl? Because I guarantee you she didn't volunteer for this. She didn't even have shoes on. We then jump to present day where Sean and Patrick are in the principal's office because they were drawing pictures of monsters in science class.
Do you see these file folders? Can you guess what's in these file folders? Discipline reports.
Believe Mr. Metzger? Tell me about it. He was touching me, patting my shoulders and stuff. I think I was fully homoing out.
Oh, it was the 80s. You gotta just let that shit slide.
I mean, when they send you to school, won't they tell you about the homos?
Children. Let's tone it down a smidge. We then meet Horace, who has the unfortunate nickname of Fat Kid, and he's being bullied on the playground by EJ, played by Jason Hervey. And did Jason Hervey ever play a character who wasn't a dick? I'm not complaining because he plays the part of the bully very well.
What'd you say, it?
Oh shit, maybe a little too well.
What'd you say, it? What'd you say?
Oh, sweet Jesus. This video's gonna get pulled again. Do not block this video, YouTube. It's not my fault. The 80s were a different time. Horace is then rescued by Rudy, who is just like the coolest kid at this school, and probably the whole state. And he's so cool that no one makes fun of him for wearing penny loafers with white socks, or just for wearing penny loafers, period. I remember wearing penny loafers to school one time, and I even had pennies in them. And believe me when I tell you, people were more than happy to let me know that I looked like a dork. Also, Sean and Patrick were sent to the principal's office for drawing pictures of monsters, and Rudy's smoking a cigarette at recess. So there is definitely some disproportionate punishment going on at this school. I mean, hell, the principal's acting like Sean and Patrick are the worst delinquents he'd ever seen, and EJ's out here skating very close to committing a hate crime.
See, you met my friend Horace.
And another great thing about Rudy is that he doesn't call Fat Kid. He's the only one that calls him Horace. Rudy's the freaking man. And Rudy then proceeds to completely destroy EJ in front of everybody.
Rudy, Shh. Eat.
Like, EJ is a total prick, but what Rudy does to him seems awfully personal. You know, Rudy must have done something pretty extreme to elicit that much fear from one of his classmates. Like, I don't think Rudy's the type to beat anyone up, and he's not that big, so what exactly is going on here? Is it like a J. Edgar Hoover type situation where Rudy has dirt on everybody? Like, I have no doubts that he's cool, but he strikes absolute fear into people. You only get that kind of respect if you've done some truly f***ed up shit. And I mean, it can't just be the smoking thing. Like, I snuck cigarettes every chance I could as a kid, and trust me, no one was afraid of me. Which sucked, because I smoked for the most stereotypical reason ever, which was to look cool. But I finally had to stop, because I couldn't not hold a cigarette like an old, wealthy divorcee. Sean, Patrick, and Fat Kid are all members of the Monster Squad, and they basically just talk about monsters and nothing else.
Wolfman doesn't go to work. He's not like a guy. What are you talking about? He walks around, he wears pants. He had to wear pants. He had to wear them so you wouldn't see his wolf dork.
And 90% of the conversations are focused directly on Wolfman's genitalia.
Rudy saved my life. Think we could talk him into joining the Monster Club? Sean, he's in junior high.
I heard he killed his dad.
Oh, a rumor that he killed his dad? Yeah, that would strike fear into the hearts of children, but this is also coming from a 5-year-old, so it's probably not the most reliable source.
Get out of here, Phoebe the Phoebe.
Oh, Fat Kid, no. You of all people should know the devastating power of our hurtful nickname. Fat Kid asks if they can let Rudy in the club, and I get why they would want Rudy to join, but I cannot for the life of me figure out why Rudy would want to. Oh, that's why. That makes way more sense.
Come on.
I'm beginning to like this club.
Well, now wait a minute. That makes it sound like he just found out about Patrick's sister who undresses in front of her window every day. So that's just an additional perk and not the main reason he's trying to join the club? What the hell is the main reason? So even though having Rudy in their club would really amp up their legitimacy, they are still professionals and Rudy still has to earn his spot by passing a monster test.
2 ways to kill a werewolf.
Silver bullet?
And?
That's it. Shoot him with the silver bullet.
Nope, sorry, Rudy.
Okay, so what's the other way?
I'm guessing the second way is heart disease?
Aw, man, Fat Kid farted. Can't you hold it?
And like, this can't be how Rudy wants to spend his afternoons. Or is Rudy so cool and confident that he doesn't care who he's seen with and just surrounds himself solely with people that he finds interesting? I am learning so much from him. Also, not cool to just blame the fart on the overweight kid. You know who else farts constantly? Literally every 11-year-old boy. I guarantee you that clubhouse reeks 24/7. Sean's mother surprises him with a diary written by Abraham Van Helsing that's written in German. She got the book at Jane Burgess's garage sale, and Jane got it from the old house on Shadowbrook Road. And for reference, this is the old house on Shadowbrook Road. What the hell was Jane Burgess doing in that house that she found that book? I think we need a little more information about Jane. Dracula arrives in town in a sweet pimp mobile that I just realized I have no idea how he got. And he does that cool thing where he overlooks the city that he's about to take over. Bleh. The city has no idea what's about to hit it. Oh, the hell was that? I will make this city mine. Okay, you know what? It's still not as bad as my Pierce Brosnan impression, so I'm considering this one a win. Sean's dad is a detective, and he and Sean's mom are going through a rough patch and should really get divorced. There's no joke there. They're both just very unhappy, and it'd be the best for everyone if they just went their separate ways. And Sean's dad has to go to work because a mummy was stolen from the museum, and the police gunned down a man claiming to be a werewolf. A werewolf who can throw a pigskin a quarter mile. So all the monsters meet up in the swamp, and you've got the Wolfman, the Mummy, Dracula, the creature from the Black Lagoon. What's that? Oh. So I guess he's listed in the credits as Gillman? The hell's a Gillman? Is that what he's actually called? So they resurrect Frankenstein, and yes, for the sake of this video, I'm calling him Frankenstein and not Frankenstein's monster, so just deal with it and move on. And man, Gillman is like super amped that Frankenstein is back. That's his buddy. He's excited. The monsters still look absolutely amazing in this movie, and imagine if they were actually given a proper budget. And I should mention that while the monsters look amazing, I'm not sure why most of them need to be there. I'm mainly looking at you, the Mummy and Chester Gillman. So Sean is listening in on his parents fighting when he notices a phone message left for him. And it's pretty funny when you break it down. So Dracula had to have tracked down Jane Burgess and got the name of the woman who bought Van Helsing's diary. Jane obviously told him because Jane doesn't give a shit. Then Dracula had to find a phone book to get the number for this little boy, and the best fake name he could come up with was his name backwards. Then Sean's mom does the most mom thing ever and confuses the Van Helsing diary with the Van Halen diary. And she's all excited that this stranger wants to pay money for this book that he should not know they have. Very on brand for a mom. And being so arrogant to think that no one would figure out your name backwards is very on brand for Dracula. And that night Eugene wakes up his dad because he says a monster is in his closet. It's played for laughs and all, but honestly, how the hell did the mummy even get in there? And oh shit, never mind, who cares? We have a My Pet Monster sighting. Second coolest toy to see in a movie, right behind Fireball Island. So Sean decides to form the Monster Squad, and wait, so they weren't already the Monster Squad? They were just kids who discussed monsters exclusively but didn't want to pigeonhole themselves? And Dracula is set up base in the old house on Shadowbrook Road, where he keeps Frankenstein locked in a cell. He's like the most docile of all these creatures. Why does he have to be locked up? Wolfman's a freaking psycho who can fire a gun. Lock him up. And Dracula then enlists Frankenstein to find the diary and murder the kids. The Monster Squad goes to the home of the scary German guy in town to see if he can translate the diary. Now I know they weren't supposed to judge people based on appearances, but I would definitely think twice about going into this guy's house. Hell, the overgrown lawn alone would be enough for me to call the cops on him. And we learn that every 100 years the forces of good and evil are balanced and the fate of the world hinges on an ancient amulet. And every 100 years at the stroke of midnight the amulet is vulnerable, and at that moment it can be shattered and the balance will shift towards evil. But if they have the amulet, then a virgin must perform a ritual at midnight which will open a hole into limbo and trap the forces of evil, and tomorrow will be 100 years since Van Helsing tried the last time.
Scary German guy's bitching.
Oh, I'm just alright. Please, call me Wolfgang.
You sure know a lot about monsters.
I suppose I do.
Now, I love when kids' movies add subtle references that only adults would understand. You know, sometimes it's an off-color joke carefully worded, or a cameo by an old famous actor. But the Monster Squad was like, we're gonna make the adults sad and contemplate the atrocities of war, and just stare blankly at a wall for about 15 minutes. Okay, so first order of business, track down a virgin. And now these are 11-year-old boys, so naturally, they begin a frantic search around town for a virgin. Just goes to show that boys would rather risk the world ending than letting their buddies know they haven't had sex. I mean, Rudy's out, because there's a rumor that he had to switch schools because he got a teacher pregnant. Sean's sister Phoebe befriends Frankenstein, and they take him to their clubhouse, where Patrick's sister is undressing again. And man, Patrick has to have realized that this is the main reason his friends come up here, right? Oh, and what's that you say? You haven't been emotionally gutted by a movie monster today? Well, here you go.
Scary.
Is no one gonna give him a hug? And so since this is the 80s, it means our heroes have only one option, a kick-ass montage. And is it just me, or did every kid watching this think that they could make silver bullets pretty easily? Also, to further showcase what a badass Rudy is, he hides the ammunition he just made in his pack of cigarettes, because he knows no teacher would have the balls to try to confiscate them. And of course, any 80s montage has to have the trying on of various hats. And even Eugene's out here pretending to help. Adorable little scamp. And they even have a delightful scene where the picture of Patrick's half-naked sister gets developed, and everyone is super horny to see it. Patrick is in hell right now. He is in literal hell. Rudy and Patrick then blackmail Patrick's sister into admitting that she's a virgin, or else they'll release the picture of her undressing. And yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. Very rare misstep by Rudy here. But in his defense, the fate of the world is at stake. And also, everyone tries to say that Rudy sucks for blackmailing her with this picture that he took, but he didn't take the picture. Frankenstein did. So, you know, it's like a gray area or something. Dracula finds the amulet and is one step closer to his goal. And now I know what you're saying. Isn't the dynamite a bit excessive? I mean, Dracula already made a sizable hole in the wall with just a hammer, and he could just turn into a bat and crawl through the hole. And to that I say, he's a near immortal creature from the depths of hell. Of course he's gonna blow shit up if the opportunity arises. What are they gonna do, arrest him? So Sean, Fat Kid, Eugene, and Frankenstein make their way to the house on Shadowbrook Road, and Wolfman jumps out, and we get one of the most iconic quotes in movie history.
Tina, you fat lard, come get some dinner.
Oops, sorry, that's the wrong clip. Hold on. I was on a Napoleon Dynamite kick. Here we go.
Kick him in the north! He doesn't have nards! Wolfman's got nards!
You know, and I don't know where they got the impression that Wolfman would not have testicles. I mean, they have already rightly assumed that Wolfman has a dick. It's kind of a package deal. And why are they kicking Wolfman? Where are the silver bullets that they made? They find a secret passage that leads them right to the unguarded amulet. And Dracula has superhuman strength and could easily just take it from Sean's hands, but I love that he just strangles him and yells at him to give it up. Like, Dracula just wanted to choke a kid today. They escape the house and meet up with the rest of the gang, and they make their way to the church in the town square, but they run into the mummy along the way. And Rudy continues to be a complete badass.
See you later, Band-Aid breath.
Oh man, that wasn't cool. You know, like a rumor about killing your dad gives you leeway to wear loafers, but you'd have to kill your whole family to get away with that line. Dracula shows up to Sean's house and blows up the Monster Squad's clubhouse, and, okay, now I am starting to question the use of dynamite. Like, Dracula is a very elegant man. He should be trying to dispatch his enemies in like a super fancy way while giving a long, drawn-out monologue. And blah, I am the next evolutionary step, and you humans are like mongrel dogs. The final showdown is about to commence, and everyone descends on the church. And Sean's dad shows up and manages to shoot Dracula from a moving vehicle while Dracula's in bat form. And like everyone in this movie just looks so damn cool. Okay, I stand corrected. Almost everyone. Blah. You shot me once in the bat nards and again in the bat taint. And Jesus, where the hell is everyone getting dynamite from?
Hey, asshole! You look.
Nice. I've said it before, no one is better at making you look like a dumb piece of shit than a little kid. And so they find even more dynamite and manage to blow up the Wolfman and throw him out the window. But he's then able to easily reanimate. And I like how getting blown up with dynamite slowed him down for the same amount of time as getting kicked in the nuts.
Ich bitte Gert Schein! Get me really, you should read it! He's not a virgin, you stupid! Did you ask him?
Oh no. Wolfgang is always knee-deep in it. And does it say anywhere that you have to scream at the person reciting the incantation? Or is that just at the discretion of any non-virgins that are there?
Where you going, Rudy?
I'm in the goddamn club, aren't I?
Alright, fuck it. No backstory needed. Some people are just born badasses. Rudy just is and always has been a bad motherfucker. And like, Rudy has just single-handedly killed 5 of these monsters. He got the mummy, the Wolfman, and 2 of the female vampires. And the third most likely died of grief off-screen. And then Fat Kid kills Gilman with just regular bullets. Psh, you don't even have a special weapon that's needed to destroy you. Pathetic.
Hey, fat kid. Good job.
My name is Horace.
Right it is. And Patrick's sister reads the incantation, but the limbo portal doesn't open because she lied about being a virgin.
You're not a virgin, are you? No? No, what do you mean, no? Well, Steve, but he doesn't count!
Not cool, Trish. Not cool. So since Steve most likely just focused on butt stuff with Patrick's sister, they have to enlist Phoebe to read the incantation. And seriously, does it say anywhere that it has to be a female virgin? And Dracula slowly saunters towards Phoebe and scary German guy, all the while killing every cop that comes near him. Like, seriously. The body count for this movie is shockingly high. Dracula then makes the biggest mistake of his life and threatens Frankenstein's best friend. And Frankenstein becomes the Vader to Dracula's Palpatine and just tosses him like he's nothing. So the portal opens and begins sucking everything in and... Oh, what's that? You want to cry over the same movie monster twice in one movie? Okay, you big freak. Jesus, this is Artax and the Swamps of Sadness, Mufasa's death, and the entire first 5 minutes of Up all rolled into one. They open the portal and Van Helsing appears and drags Dracula into limbo, and apparently Van Helsing is just stuck in limbo forever, much like my many failed TV show pilots. Rest in peace, The Many Adventures of Scuba Kid. Man, that would have been a cool show. So the army shows up after receiving Eugene's letter, and that balloons the Monster Squad's mission budget from $8 to roughly $1.2 billion. I just don't know if this club is financially viable. I mean, did they even make any money on this mission?
Who are you?
We're the Monster Squad.
Not once the government sends you the bill. So that was the Monster Squad. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and this is one of my favorite videos ever, so I'm really hoping it doesn't get blocked again. I mean, statistically speaking, it probably will. But before that happens, be sure to check out the links below for some amazing Distracted Nerd merch, including a shameless ripoff of Sean's Stephen King Rules shirt, because Distracted Nerd is just as culturally relevant as Stephen King. And I want to thank all my patrons, and while you're here, you should also consider signing up for my Patreon. There's some cool perks right now, like voting on what movies I do, and starting just now, there will be bonus videos every week. And here's a taste of what you're in for.
4 cigarettes, but no matches. How do they manage to smoke?
The Riddler.
What the heck's he trying to tell us?
Man, I wish these two could meet in the middle with the volume of their voice. Like, Robin, why are you just always yelling? Now, old friend, let's go be paragons of virtue and intimidate the man who's suing us. Right, Batman! Delightful. And if you want to support this channel just by showing us love, then be sure to like and comment and tell your friends. The bigger this channel gets, the faster I can do this full time, and then I can really make my parents proud. Oh, hey, John, what does your kid do for a living? Oh, he's in the movie business. Oh, really? Like a producer or something? He's just in the movie business. Stop asking so many fucking questions, Keith.